So, in 2022, Honor were back, and they were back in a big way with the Honor Magic 4 Pro. A few months after the Magic 4 Pro was released in the UK, Honor had another launch here in London, and our Chief Aperture Officer Lukasz and I were lucky enough to be invited to it, as well as having some early access to the Honor 70 smartphone. We've already done a series of videos on the Honor 70 here on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel, but this is the Tech Travel Geeks long-term review of the Honor 70. This is a mid-range smartphone. The first clue to that is its price. It's priced around about £400. The original recommended retail price was £449, but we've seen it regularly on offer in many places, including Amazon, at under £400. So it's in the same class of device as the Honor 50 was last year, and more importantly, as the Google Pixel 6a and the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G. It's a mid-range device which gives you pretty much 90% of flagship smartphone capabilities, whilst having a few little trade-offs. Now, the Honor 70 is very similar in terms of industrial design to the Honor 50. No surprises there. It has a lovely curved AMOLED display at the front of the device, with an embedded notch for the selfie camera. Back is made out of polycarbonate or plastic, and that has a nice curved edge at all four edges. So the device in practice tricks you into believing that it is a slimmer, sleeker device than it is in actual fact. That's a good thing. The body of the device is made out of plastic, but because of its industrial design and shape, you'll never notice that. As always, we do recommend having a case on your device, so check out the other Tech Travel Geeks videos of reviews of cases for the Honor 70 smartphone. The front screen is a 6.67-inch one. That is significantly larger than other devices in this price category. But those very narrow bezels and the fact that they're curved really do make you believe that this is a much smaller device. Whilst the OLED screen is lovely, it also has a fast refresh rate. In this case, it has 120 Hz refresh rate, though that adapt refresh rate reduces the refresh rate where not needed to save battery power. If you want to, through the Magic UI software, Honor's Android distribution that runs on the Honor 70, you can switch that faster refresh rate off and turn it all the way down to 60 Hz. This will give you slightly better battery life, whilst really not affecting you in any meaningful manner in your day-to-day use of the smartphone. Now, the Honor 70 has great battery life in my experience. In day-to-day use, it always gives me more than a day's use. And even in travel conditions, using it, for example, on my trip to India, I had no issues with battery life. The battery life on the Honor 70 is great thanks to the 4800 mAh battery built in. Magic UI as an Android distribution handles that beautifully, but if you do need to top up, you have a great advantage that in the box you also get a 66-watt fast charger. That means that you can pretty much charge up to 60% in around about half an hour of charging and top up the phone completely within an hour from completely flat. That makes it an ideal smartphone for use whilst traveling if you have occasional access to power points. You don't need to plug in to charge for a long period of time. You can top up quickly with just temporary access to a plug. Now, when traveling, I've used the Honor 70 to not only stream video or play video stored on the device, but I've also used it to listen to audio for long periods of time. The Audible app worked very well on it, and I was able to store a lot of audiobooks on the built-in storage, as well as have plenty of storage left over for pictures and videos. Now, I say pictures and videos because the Honor 70 has a very capable camera setup on the back. So the Honor 70 has a new 54 megapixel sensor on the back, which is its main sensor. This produces very clear, nice pictures with plenty of color saturation, but not too much. There are lots of different camera modes on the Honor 70, but I usually just leave it in AI mode and let the Honor 70 decide what it's doing on its own. And I've not been able to use the Honor 70 to really trick it into working in panda mode when pointed at my cat Rodney. It always managed to get cat mode. So I'm sorry to say that one of my favorite bugs from previous Honor smartphones is gone. but we've really not been able to trigger Panda mode with Rodney, and we'll have to stick with Cat mode as Honor originally intended. The main 54 megapixel camera does a really good job, and night mode is relatively light. Because of that good 54 megapixel camera, the AI night mode can't really improve on it that much in my opinion. So overall performance in low light is decent, though it doesn't perform as well in very low light as, for example, the Google Pixel 6a does. There's some magic juice Google have obviously not shared with Honor in this case. The ultra-wide camera on the Honor 70 is a 50 megapixel sensor. I've noticed that in low light, that actually performs slightly better than the main sensor when in night mode. It's an odd thing, but especially when taking pictures of architecture in skyscraper low light night conditions, the Honor 70 did really well and produced very pleasing images, which I was quite happy to play around with in Lightroom as well. But as pictures come out of that 50 megapixel ultra-wide camera, they're very pleasing, and in terms of colour and distortion compared to the main sensor in good lighting conditions, it's a pleasant outcome nonetheless. The Honor 70 in its other little camera module has an extra 2 megapixel depth sensor that slightly improves the portrait capability and the autofocus of the main sensor, but that's all down to the AI and image fusion of Honor's Magic UI software. In terms of taking pictures, it is pretty good at point and shoot. Don't have to worry about it, you have the AI on, just point and shoot. But it's not as easy as, for example, the Google Pixel 6a. If you take the time to train yourself and practice with the camera, you can take some really good pictures. Not only that, Honor offer a pretty comprehensive image editor built into the operating system. So if you go from the Honor gallery to the editor, you have things like splash to select one color over a black and white image, and it does a really good job of handling that. Not to mention video. We've used the Honor 70 to record quite a few 4K video clips, even including some in challenging lighting conditions in Kolkata, India. Check out that video here on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel, especially if you want a little bit of an adrenaline push due to the driving conditions in that city. Anyway, the Honor 70 cameras are a highlight of the device. That content, whether it's 4K pictures or the native 10 to 12 megapixel images coming out of those main sensors, is something that gets stored on internal storage. The device we were provided for review by Honor has 256 gigabytes of internal storage. Sadly, that's non-expandable. The SIM card slot takes 2 physical nano SIMs, so bear that in mind, especially if you're considering buying the Honor 70. You'll want to make sure that you have the right storage amount before you buy the device, rather than have the device and then run out of storage at a later date. You can transfer the content of your device easily onto other devices such as laptops or tablets for editing or uploading to YouTube, as I have done, using the built-in USB Type-C port. That's also used for the 66 watt fast charging, which I really enjoy, even if it's just to watch the percentages creep up. And in terms of connectivity, you also have the usual slew of Wi-Fi, GPS, GLONASS and all the other wonderful positioning services, as well as Bluetooth 5 low energy. I've had no issues with lag or connectivity to wireless earbuds, whether they're the Honor ones or my Bose Noise Cancellation 700 earphones. Whilst traveling, they did very well. And I mentioned Bluetooth because sadly there's no Courage port, there's no 3.5mm audio jack. So you need to get used to the fact that with modern smartphones, even in the mid-range, you do need to have Bluetooth earphones rather than wired ones. So the Honor 70 can also be set up to use that selfie camera, which produces decent pictures in varying conditions, as well as being able to record 4K video. You can use that selfie camera to set up face unlock. It's not as safe as the fingerprint biometric unlock or having a PIN code, but it's an extra option to make your ease of use of the Honor 70 pretty decent. Now, Honor claim to have additional software features in Magic UI which make it even more secure. In terms of software updates, as of January 2023, the Honor 70 is sitting on a November 2022 security patch for the Android operating system. Running the show is Android 12. We haven't seen the update to Magic UI 7 just yet, but Android 12 with Magic UI 6.1 offers quite a compelling package in terms of features and of theming options, as well as a consistent native setup for the device. You can choose in Magic UI between having all your apps on the home screen or having an app drawer. You can choose your theming. There's plenty of personalization options. Also, just in general, the Honor software in Magic UI is starting to reach a certain level of maturity where I've noticed little or few bugs, and when working with the camera, it is quite a pleasure to use with. We've talked about Magic UI, the performance, the battery life. All this is related to the fact that the Honor 70 is running on a Qualcomm Snapdragon chipset. It's not a flagship chipset in its category, it's running the Snapdragon 778 Plus 5G. What does that mean? Well, it's a mid to high range, almost flagship chipset from Qualcomm, which is running on a 5nm node. That means that it's relatively power efficient and has some extra capabilities when it comes to AI and neural processing. And paired with Magic UI, improves on battery life, makes sure the device is running smoothly in most conditions, as well as offering certain other optimizations when it comes to the overall use of radios, especially when you're using Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and cellular connectivity all at once. This Snapdragon chipset that is running in the Honor 70 is actually a tried and tested one. This isn't the only device we've seen with this chipset. If you haven't already, do check out our Chief Aperture Officer's Lukash's video on the Nothing Phone 1, which has a different operating system running on the same chipset, which he's had no performance issues with, and again, reinforces the fact that you don't have to spend maybe £1,000 or $1,000 on a flagship smartphone when the mid-range offers so much at less than half the price. The Honor 70 really is a flagship capable device for most people. And unless you really want to show off the fact that you're spending a lot of money on a smartphone, the Honor 70 is a very compelling overall package. I personally would definitely consider buying one of these, especially considering how I've been using it as a creator. All the YouTube videos I've recorded clips for using the Honor 70 are already on our Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel, so if you can, check those out and you'll get an idea of how good the video capture is, as well as check out my Instagram for the Honor 70 shots that are there. To wrap up things, the Honor 70 is an amazing smartphone for £400. I would definitely recommend this smartphone to friends or family if they ask me for their advice on the matter. It is starting to be quite a crowded segment. There are devices in this price range such as the Nothing Phone 1 we mentioned, the Google Pixel 6a, the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G. But the Honor 70 offers a much more attractive package in terms of its physical looks, as well as some unique performance and video and photo capture features that others don't have. Not only that, you also get a very shiny phone, which we all love. We all love shiny phones. Thanks for watching if you made it this far into our long-term review of the Honor 70 smartphone. If you don't already, please do subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks here on YouTube. We cover consumer electronics, gadgets, accessories, smartphones, and even smartphone software updates, which we believe make the travel experience better. We'll be back soon with another video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye from me.